My name is Melody and welcome back to Strawberry Lemon. So with the new year coming in, I thought it would be fun to share my top 10 most anticipated releases of 2022. There are so many interesting sounding releases for this coming year and it was really hard to narrow it down to just 10. But I tried my best to, and yeah, I tried to separate these books into different genres and I'll leave the timestamps down below so you can skip to whatever is your cup of tea. But we are going to be starting with fantasy. So first up, we had The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O, and this is about a girl named Mina, and she lives in a town that is ravaged by floods and storms and everything, and their town believes in the sea gods. So every year they throw a girl into the sea and hope that the girl will be the sea god's bride and appease him so they would stop having storms and floods. And this year they decided to throw Mina's brother's girlfriend or the love of his life or something. So instead, Mina decides to sacrifice herself and throws herself into the sea instead. And she has to go into this kind of spirit world, and she tracks down the sea god and finds out that he's in an enchanted sleep, kind of like Sleeping Beauty-esque, I think. And yeah, so now she has to go through this world and try to figure out how to wake him up, and it's gonna be dangerous because some people don't want him to wake up. And I think she's running out of time because a human cannot live long in the land of the spirits. So yeah. Next up, we have The Book Eaters by Suni Dean, and this is about a secret line of people who eat books. So it says, spy novels are a peppery snack. Romance novels are sweet and delicious. So this follows Devon, who is realizing that her son has a different kind of appetite, and it is for human minds instead of books. And I don't know, it just sounds really interesting. They eat books, we love books, and yeah. Next on the list is the last of my anticipated fantasy reads, and it is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. And this is about Xingyin, who lives in solitude on the moon, and she doesn't know that she's being hidden from the celestial emperor who exiled her mother for stealing something from him. And yeah, one day her magic flares up, making her discovered, and she has to flee. So she goes to the celestial kingdom and disguises herself as a man, and she meets the emperor's son, and I think she gets an opportunity to learn magic and everything with him, and there's like a bit of romance there, and they go on a quest, and it gives me very Chinese drama-esque vibes, and I am all for it, and I'm very excited for this. And yeah, so that is the last of our fantasy anticipated reads. But before I go into our next genre, I am also gonna rapid fire some other anticipated releases for fantasy that caught my eye, and also put them in the description box if you want to check any of them out. And yeah, so for fantasy, we also have Bella Morte by Bella Higgin, A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Fazal, Dead Collections by Isaac Feldman, The Alpha Sun by Penny Jessup, Zachary Ying and the Dragon Emperor by Siran J. Zhao, Crumbs by Danny Sterling, Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor, So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher, and Blackwater by Jeanette Arroyo and Rand Graham. And yeah, I'm really sorry if I butcher any names in this video. But next up, we have horror. So for horror, we have Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, and this is also kind of sci-fi-y. So it is about Claire, whose crew gets a strange distress signal, and they decide to go check it out. And to their shock and amazement, when they go to this distress signal, they find a cruiser that has disappeared for 20 years already, and it is the Aurora. So they go to the Aurora and check out what's up, and scary things are happening. It says, whispers in the dark, flickers of movement, words scrawled in blood. Claire must fight to hold on to her insanity and find out what really happened on the Aurora before she and her crew meet the same ghastly fate. And sci-fi horror together? Yes, please. Okay, and then next up we have These Deadly Games by Diana Urban. And this is about Crystal, who gets a message one day with a video of her little sister having been kidnapped, and she has to follow all of these rules and do everything this messenger says in order for her to get her sister back safely. And at first it's like funny and it's just pranks and stuff, but it slowly turns into kind of trying to get her to kill all of her friends off, and she's not sure what to do. She's wondering if the secret messenger is trying to slowly kill off all of her teammates so that they can't compete in something, and if they found out the secret of something that they did before. And it sounds really interesting. And yeah, some other horror releases that I'm anticipating are Hide by Kirsten White, The Watchers by A.M. Shine, and Black Tide by Casey Jones. And yeah, next up we have contemporary. So to kick off the contemporary releases, I'm really excited for Once Upon a K-Prom by Kat Cho. And this cover is so nice. It gives me kind of like watercolor-esque kind of things. But yeah, this is about Elena, who thinks she isn't as outgoing as her best friend and isn't as popular as her siblings, and she just doesn't really know what she wants or who she is, but she does know for a fact that she does not want to go to prom. But suddenly, one day, a K-pop star idol shows up at her house and asks her to prom, and it is Robbie Choi, who is her childhood best friend, who she may or may not had a thing for, and this just sounds like it's gonna be so cute, and I hope they end up together, and yeah! And next up, we have Icebreaker by A.L. Graziade, and the first thing that caught my eye about this book was hockey. I love hockey. And I saw hockey in the synopsis and I was sold, but also everything else in this book. So this is about Mickey, who is a college freshman, and he comes from a line of hockey players, and he is almost guaranteed the top draft spot in the league, and the only thing standing in his way is his teammate Jason, who is also a very good hockey player, and you know, competition, but also teammates and some romance sprinkled in. And yeah, hockey romance, it's just perfection. Okay, and then next up on the list is Yinka, Where Is Your Husband by Lizzie Damilola Blackburn. And this is about Yinka, who is in her 30s and single, and her family wants her to not be single anymore. And yeah, when her cousin gets engaged, she commences Operation Find a Date for Rachel's wedding. And she has the help of a spreadsheet and her best friend. What could go wrong? And I don't know, I think this line really caught my attention and made me really want to read this book. And it is, will Yinka find herself a husband? And what if the thing she really needs to find is herself? And it just feels like it's gonna be wholesome and self-discovering, and I'm ready for it. And yeah, that is it for the contemporaries. And some rapid fire other releases that caught my attention are How to Date a Superhero by Christina Fernandez, A Girl's Guide to Love and Magic by Debbie Rigaud, TJ Power Has Something to Prove by Jasmine Cauardillo, Sadie on a Plate by Amanda Elliott, and Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. And last but not least, we are gonna get into the sci-fi! Okay, so first up for the sci-fi, we have Waking Romeo by Catherine Barker. So this is set in the future where time travel is now possible, but the only thing about time travel is that you can only travel forward in time, you can't travel back. And only a few people have decided not to travel forward in time, and one of them is Juliet, because Romeo is asleep, poisoned? I don't know. He's just, oh, correction, Romeo is in a coma. So Juliet, after not being really in good places with her family and friends anymore, after whatever went down with her romance with Romeo, she is trying to figure out how to wake Romeo up from this coma. And somebody actually travels back in time to Juliet, which, you know, isn't supposed to be possible. And it just makes Juliet question everything, and we have to figure out whether she will be able to wake up Romeo. And it just sounds like a really interesting concept. And yeah, the last book on my anticipated releases list is Clean Air by Sarah Blake. So this is set in a world where climate change and all of the bad things with climate change have already gone and passed. And in this world, the biggest problem wasn't the flooding or the rising temperatures, it was pollen. So I think all of the trees were overgrown and there was just so much pollen that it was hard to breathe. But now they have found a solution by creating these domes for people to live in. And this follows Isabel and her daughter Cammy, and there's apparently a serial killer running around slashing the domes, exposing people to this deadly pollen. And Cammy, who is Isabel's daughter, is now sleep talking and talking about these murders that she does not even remember. And Isabel is trying to figure out who the serial killer is and what's going on in their mind. And it just sounds really interesting. A sci-fi serial killer kind of thing. Yeah. And then some rapid fire releases: The Kindred by Alicia Doe and Last Exit by Max Gladstone. And yeah, that was it for my anticipated releases of 2022. I really hope that maybe some of you guys have found some new releases that might interest you. I also have a lot more other releases that I have put on my want to read on my Goodreads if you want to check that out. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video and I was at least semi-coherent. And if you have any anticipated releases that I didn't mention, please comment them down below. Or if you're anticipating some of these releases, let me know down below. And I'll hopefully see y'all in the next video. Bye!